We had ourselves a busy weekend of injuries. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Monday, April 7th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Chris Towers. Busy weekend of injuries. Let's begin with Ketel Marte, who was placed in the IL Saturday with a left hamstring strain. Marte's profile from a hitter perspective is great. I mean, the downside here is that he has dealt with a lot of hamstring injuries in his career. Chris, how much time are you expecting Ketel Marte to miss here?
I would guess it's something like 4 weeks. We haven't heard anything specific about it. It's possible it's just a minimum stay. I hope it's just a minimum stay, but given that it's a hamstring injury, given his history with hamstring injuries, I would guess they err on the side of caution, which is what we want, right? The last thing we want is he comes back after the minimum, re-injures it in 2 days, and has to go back on the IL, right? So I would guess it's more like 3 or 4 weeks, but we don't know yet.
As a result, the D-backs promoted Tim Tawa, who is 25 years old, put up big numbers in the minors last year, 31 home runs, 24 steals. I'm not sure he's going to play every single day in Ketel Marte's absence, but a name that you could look at in deeper leagues, and worth mentioning that they did not call up Jordan Lawler here in Ketel Marte's absence. If you're looking for replacements, Scott's sleeper hitters for this week, he has Jake Cronenworth and Otto Lopez on the list. A couple other options, Michael Garcia, Luis Rengifo, Tyler Fitzgerald. Some names in deeper leagues, IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Gavin Lux, Kyron Paris, but Chris, it looks like Jake Cronenworth and Otto Lopez are probably the two best options right now.
I will say Michael Garcia's hitting the ball hard like he always does, but he did specifically work on changing his swing this offseason to focus on staying back more and driving the ball, because his thing has always been he hits the ball really hard, but he's always out in front. It's always grounders that he hits hard. He's hit a couple homers so far. There's been some high exit velocities. It's a name to watch.
All right, let's talk about all of the pitching injuries this weekend. We lost Blake Snell due to left shoulder inflammation. He completed a bullpen on Sunday and then informed the Dodgers staff that his shoulder was bothering him. The Dodgers recalled Matt Sauer from AAA, but he's expected to pitch out of the bullpen. Nestor Cortez with a left elbow flexor strain. He dealt with this injury last year as well. And going for a second opinion, which is always bad news for a starting pitcher, obviously. And
I think he's droppable.
Yeah, and Jack Leiter went to the IL with a blister, which stinks because he was off to a nice start as well. So we are looking for replacements at starting pitcher. I think very clearly the top name, Chris Bubich, if he's available anywhere, shallower leagues, make sure that he's not available. And if he is, add him to your team. A couple of names we spoke about on the Full Length podcast as replacements: Max Meyer, Reese Olson, Eduardo Rodriguez, Tomoyuki Sugano, and Matthew Boyd. Chris, do you like any names from that group?
Yeah, I think they're all fairly interesting. And there was a little bit of disagreement between Scott White and I. I think he had Sugano, Olson, and Meyer at the top of his list. I think I would just go with Meyer because I think he's the most interesting talent of the three. 8 strikeouts, 15 whiffs against the Braves on Friday. Fastball velocity's up. It's looked like a very good pitch. His slider has always been great, but it's playing up even more now. I think he's the best pitcher of them. The problem is he threw a quality start on Friday, and what he got for it was a 10-0 loss. So the Marlins are bad. It's a bad situation, so that will drag him down. But I would go Meyer, Olson, and Sugano personally.
All right. What about some names in slightly deeper leagues? I'm not sure of the talent here, but they have good matchups this week. Sorry to pick on your Marlins, Chris, but Tyler McGill and Mitchell Parker, two names that you can look at. They've pitched well so far, and obviously a good matchup here against the Marlins. Let's take a break, and we'll be back right after this.
One of golf's elite courses, Quail Hollow, hosts the game's top players at the PGA Championship this May on CBS.
Welcome back in FBT Express, going over to the biggest injuries of the weekend, and they all stink. This one in particular, Ivan Herrera dealing with left knee inflammation. His teammate Pedro Pajes will start in his place and is worth a look for those in deeper 2-catcher leagues. But Chris, if you play in a 1-catcher league, names like Gabriel Moreno, Ryan Jeffers, Keibert Ruiz, Hunter Goodman, And Sean Murphy, who's expected to return on Tuesday, could be available. Who do you like from that group as a replacement?
I'd probably go Goodman at the top. He has started, I think, every game so far, or maybe he sat out one for the Rockies. There's big power potential there. Moreno's a little more safe, but I think there's less upside with him than there is with both Goodman and Sean Murphy. So I tend to lean towards chasing upside. I would go Goodman, Murphy, and then Moreno.
Another injury, Victor Robles is expected to land on the IL with what looks like a shoulder injury, and sleeper hitters in the outfield for Scott. There was TJ Friedl and Max Kepler. If you need speed in particular, Victor Scott and Jung-Hoo Lee in shallower leagues, and then in deeper formats, Tommy Pham, Johnny DeLuca, Leody Taveras there. Again, if you're looking for speed in particular.
Yeah, I like Kepler and Friedl both as short and long-term options. I think there's some upside with both of them. I think Victor Scott and Jung-Hoo Lee are just good pickups, generally speaking. Probably not so much Scott in points leagues, but I think there's a chance he hits for a pretty good batting average, non-zero pop, and a lot of speed. And Lee, I mean, the 3 stolen bases so far, a really nice surprise, 77th percentile sprint speed. He's pretty athletic. I think the batting average is going to be very helpful. So I think Lee it's worth adding, even if you didn't lose an outfielder.
Another outfielder who could be a replacement for Victor Robles is Rockies prospect Zach Veen, who is being promoted for his major league debut on Tuesday. And he had the big spring training. We were all upset when he got sent down heading into opening day, but he's off to a great start. He had a 5-hit game over the weekend at AAA, which included a homer, 2 doubles, 4 RBI. He's only 24% rostered. Chris, what size leagues would you be looking to add Zach Veen, if any, at this point?
I think it's not about the league size so much as it's about the number of outfielders you start and what you're looking for. In a 3 outfielder points league, I think Zach Veen's unlikely to make much of an impact this season. But any league where you have 5 outfield spots in your lineup, I think Zach Veen's worth a look, and especially if stolen bases are their own category, because that's the one place I'm pretty sure he's going to be helpful in. He's missed a lot of time over the years. With injuries, we're not exactly sure where he is. He's had limited opportunities in the high minors, but he has consistently run despite the injuries. It was 21 steals in 65 games last year, 22 in 46 games the year before. I think we'll get some stolen bases. Batting average hopefully will be palatable with the help of Coors Field, and he'll hit a few home runs too.
Yeah, and it sounds like your categories too. I think your cat is a big fan of Zach Veen there. I want to ask you about their pitching prospect, Chase Dollander, who was promoted on Sunday and started against the A's. It was 5 innings, 4 runs, picked up the win in that one. But he's a pitching prospect in Coors Field. So, Chris, do you have any interest in Chase Dollander?
Yeah, I think the stuff looked really good. And I think when you're talking about Coors Field, what you're hoping for is really good on the road and non-disastrous at Coors Field. And that's basically what this was. It was 3 runs in 5 innings?
I think it was 4 in
5 innings. ERA is a little higher, but the strikeout rate was good. The stuff looked good. It played at Coors Field. I think that's a good sign. And then you're hoping when he gets away from Coors Field that Chase Dollander can be a legitimate impact pitcher. So I think I wouldn't say he's must add everywhere, but it's tough because the upside could be high enough that I kind of want to add him everywhere. Not must, but can add. That's not a phrase we use a lot, but that's the way I'm looking at it.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.